Hello everyone, it's Brett Lionheart 84 and it's the very last few days of September, and I thought, having watched Joe's videos and watching a couple of videos online, that I might pick a pomegranate. It's not the largest fruit, I've got a couple of slightly larger ones, but I was watching a video on determining ripeness of your pomegranate, and they said if the weight's quite good, what it is, but more importantly, the gentleman I was watching said that if the colour stretches all the way to the bottom of the what were the remainders of the sepals of the flowers, if the colour stretches all the way to the bottom, the fruit's likely to be ripe. Now if we look at another one on the tree, which I didn't bag, it's a smaller fruit, I can see that the colour doesn't stretch all the way to the bottom. And this other one I bagged here, same thing, it's a little bit bigger than the other one. This is probably the best one on the tree, but it still appears to be very much more green at the bottom. So I thought it'd be fun, because now it's getting cold, they're not going to improve more. I thought it'd be fun to cut this one and actually have a look inside it. So bear with me while I just pause the camera, because I won't be able to hold the camera and the fruit and the secateurs. So hold on a second. So you can see it's very much a medium-sized fruit. And certainly the colour does go to the base. It feels quite weighty. I have had a very small fruit off this tree, I think it was a couple of years ago, and when I cut it open, it was a maggot had been inside it and sort of spoilt half the fruit. But I can see what looks like a tiny snail in there, but that's not a problem. So I think I might actually cut this one open. There's no point leaving it on the table to ripen. I don't even think pomegranates ripen off the tree, so we'll probably cut this one open as it's drizzling with rain and see what it looks like inside for anyone interested. It's an unknown plant. It's it's either an unknown variety or it's just a seedling one. It came from Bernkus originally and was just sold as Punica granatum. So it may be that it's a named variety that's been propagated via cuttings at some stage, but somewhere along the line the naming or the labels have been lost and it's just being sold as the species type. But that doesn't mean that it can't produce edible fruits. They might still be edible inside, and I said it's not a bad size, so I think we'll cut this open and have a look. What it hasn't got is the defined, normally when they get big enough to be ripe they have sort of flattened sides, so you can tell the, if you like, the segments of them, and it hasn't split open, so I'm not convinced it's going to be ripe inside, but we'll have a look and see for a bit of fun. So I'll be back to you in a minute. Okay, so here we are back looking at the pomegranate again. So it's not a large fruit, it's a small fruit. It's got a nice colour on one side, is light green on the other, which means it may be only partially ripe inside, if at all. The only way to find out is to cut it open. Just out of interest, I thought I'd weigh it, because I thought, well, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? So it only weighs 146 grams, which is 5 ounces. So not a bad weight really, not like the monsters you tend to see in the shops here that have been imported from hot climates, but nevertheless still better than nothing at all. It is drizzling at the moment, so I'm not going to hang around too long, but I'm just going to probably flip the camera around and cut this open and see if it is edible inside at all. Won't be a second. Well, so it's a horrible, miserable, damp day to be doing this. No surprise really in the UK autumn. Although it's been very dry recently, it's just drizzling slightly today. Not nice for sitting outside, but anyway, I'm going to cut this pomegranate open and see if it's got any pinkness in the centre. This isn't the way I'd normally prepare a pomegranate, but I just want to see what it actually looks like when it's cut in half. Okay. Well, this isn't too bad at all. Look, it's got ripe or ripe looking arils in. I think that's what they're called, arils from variety. Let's move this camera a little bit closer. You want to see a close up of me, but you do see a close up of the fruit. There is juice coming out of it. It hasn't set fully. I don't know if it's got any, can't see that it's got any worms in it or not, but you can see it's discoloured in this section here. I've had that before and they've had a little bug in them. Let's just see if we can get a couple of these arils out and see what they taste like. Not sweet, very hard seeds. Got a good colour to them, but no, not like Joe's. Now it could be a problem with it being a seedling, because you don't know what you're going to get with seedlings. Very tart. And worse, the seeds are very, very hard on it. So not the level of success of Joe's. I kind of hoped it was going to have some sweetness to it, but that was nowhere near ripe, despite the coloration at the bottom of the stem. So that is not an accurate way of telling. Nevertheless, it's better than it's further than I've got before. I do have a another Molar Delche coming, which is a recognised variety, but I think this is still proving to be a problem of growing these in the UK climate. Obviously Joe's got two much more mature trees, they put a lot more energy into the fruit, but as far as my fruit's concerned, obviously the other bigger one I'm going to leave on the tree until probably November, probably before about the time of the first frosts, and see what happens and see if that does ripen more. But at the moment, despite the colour looking nice and it being recognisable as a pomegranate, I would describe that as a bit of a failure. Anyway, still worth a thumbs up. Thanks for watching the video. Again, welcome to share it, of course. Please subscribe to my channel, and remember, if you want to see more tastings of sour fruits, to click on the bell so you know when new videos come out. See you all soon. Brett out for now.